Audio Jungle.
Few things make me so angry that I feel pure, unadulterated venom seeping out of every pore of my skin.But ISIS brides make me that angry. These are the women who leave their homes, families, friends and countries to go and marry the world's worst terrorists. They have sex with them, they breed with them, they cook for them, they clean for them, they love them, and they worship them. And while they're doing all this, their husbands are busy raping, torturing, stoning, beheading, and murdering people. These ISIS brides are as unspeakable as those hideous women who write love letters to notorious serial killers in prison. They have no thought or care for the poor victims of their despicable monsters. They're just excited by the murderous brutality. Today, two such ISIS brides are in the news, one in America, one in Britain. Both voluntarily fled to the arms of their ISIS warriors and, at the very least, conspired with them in their unspeakable atrocities. Mithana, 24, left Alabama 4 years ago to go to an ISIS enclave in Raqqa, Syria. While she was there, she married not one, but 3 ISIS terrorists. The first 2 died while carrying out their barbaric activities, so she just wed another one. She has an 18-month-old baby son by the second husband. Shamima Begum, 19, left London to go to a similar ISIS-held territory in Syria. She also married an ISIS terrorist. She claims to have had 2 babies that died and has now just given birth to a third, a boy. When ISIS was pummeled into virtual submission in Syria, these women washed up in the same refugee camp, Al-Hol, in the north of the country. Now, predictably, they both want to return to the safety of their original countries and live at our taxpayer expense. To which I say, and excuse my language here, but sometimes it's entirely appropriate, go FCK yourselves. Mithana, lest we forget, called for U.S. Muslims to spill all of the blood by launching terror attacks during Memorial Day events. In social posts in 2015, she ranted, "You have much to do while you live under our greatest enemy. Enough of your sleeping. Go on drive-bys and spill all of their blood, or rent a big truck and drive all over them." Veterans Patriot, Memorial etc. Day parades. Go on drive-bys and spill all of their blood. Kill them. Think about that for a moment. This is an American citizen who was an adult at the time she wrote this, openly demanding the mass murder of innocent fellow Americans in the most horrendous, cowardly manner imaginable. In the next 2 years, ISIS-inspired terrorists committed 3 acts of horror on U.S. soil. In December 2015, in San Bernardino, California, 14 people were killed and 20 wounded when husband and wife Said Rizwan Farouk and Tashfeen Malik attacked a holiday party for people with special needs and disabilities. In June 2016, a terrorist named Omar Mateen shot dead 49 people in an Orlando nightclub. And in October 2017, a terrorist named Seeping drove a truck into pedestrians in New York, killing 8 and wounding 11. The last murderer literally did exactly what Muthanna had beseeched U.S. Muslims to do. He took a truck and spilled the blood of Americans. Now, the same Muthanna wants us to believe she deeply regrets leaving America to go and support her ISIS terrorist husbands. "I thought I was doing things correctly, for the sake of God," she wailed in an interview with The Guardian. "I was really young and ignorant. She was a 19-year-old woman who knew exactly what she was doing. Then came the really disgusting bit. "I believe that America gives second chances," she proclaimed, as if she were a contestant on America's Got Talent who'd failed in her first attempt at stardom. "I want to return and never go back to the Middle East. America can take my passport, and I wouldn't mind." "I'm sure you wouldn't, you shameless creature." "Not least because if you did go back to your ISIS husband now, he'd almost certainly cut your head off for being an infidel." "Or maybe he'd stone you alive or just set you on fire." These guys can be very creative with their modes of murder. As for Begum, she hasn't even bothered to lie about having remorse or regret for what she did, saying she had a good time and the experience made her stronger and tougher. Today, she even defended the appalling ISIS-inspired terror attack on an Ariana Grande pop concert in Manchester, England, in 2017 that killed 22 people, many of them young female fans. Begum said it was a two-way thing, insisting, "Because women and children are being killed back in the Islamic State right now, it's kind of retaliation, so I thought okay, it's a fair justification." The utterly deluded cretin, now 19, added that people should have sympathy for her. "Let me explain how much sympathy I have for you, young lady. 0. In fact, less than 0. I have a minus level of sympathy for you. My reservoirs of sympathy are reserved for those who lost their lives at the hands of your vicious, evil husband." Like your US counterpart Muthanna, you're a repellent excuse for a human being who actively aided and abetted the very worst terrorists in the world. In doing so, you renounced your country and everything it stands for. Worse than that, you openly supported the murder of your fellow citizens. So the idea that now your ISIS husbands and friends have been virtually wiped out in Syria, and your participant role in the glorious caliphate is crashed and burned, you simply trot home like nothing has happened. This as absurd as it's offensive. I don't think either of these ISIS brides should ever be allowed home. America and Britain should stand firm together on this and simply revoke their passports. And traitors deserve not one iota of fairness. Indeed, the only fairness I would show is towards their own innocent children who should be sent home for adoption by decent, humane people, not cared for by radicalized terror lovers. My message to both these brides, and any others like them, is this: you made your ISIS husband beds, now you can rot in hell in them.